Hello guys, and in this video we'll be dealing with the world of DevOps. So basically DevOps stands for development and operations, as I have mentioned here. So these are basically a set of operations that are performed for the better organization of your website on a server, you know, so that your website is optimized for better performance and stuff. So when starting in the field of DevOps, you need to have some basic skills. You need to learn some basic things. The first thing I would say is you need to learn about the virtual infrastructures. So virtual infrastructures are basically the places or the cloudware where you can host your data. So these are best suited places for hosting your data. And I would say if you are building a professional grade website, I would say you should go with AWS, Amazon Web Services. So AWS is probably the way to go if you are making a professional grade website. You can also use Google Cloud Compute or DigitalOcean for that matter, because it has a very low price, DigitalOcean. Other than that, we have Microsoft Azure. These are relatively higher priced and can be used only if you have a very high budget or you are making website for a very financially rich company, I would say. So these are the basically these are the basic infrastructures where you can host your websites. The second thing you need to learn is about the source code repositories, or which are popularly known as VCS, version control systems. So these are the places where you can store your code permanently, and then you can collaborate with other users over the internet for the betterment of your project. So the most popular places, most popular version control systems being Git and Bitbucket. Probably Bitbucket is associate of Atlassian, so I will say Bitbucket and Git are the way to go. Git is very popular due to GitHub most probably, and Git is open source, so I would say Git is the way to go. And so, and these also promote management of the various versions of your website or your project. The next thing will be the build server. So in terms of build servers, I will say Jenkins is probably the best thing. These are the things you need not focus on. Most probably DevOps is a bit complicated thing, so I'll say Jenkins is the way to go. You can learn more about Jenkins through their website. The next thing you need to learn is testing automation, how to test websites automatically, without even disturbing the loading of the website. So even if your website is not offline and you make changes to your website, you need to test them. You need to test out every part of your website, and there are certain frameworks that have been designed for that purpose. So I would say use Selenium for that, or Water is another great framework which deals with testing. So the next thing is task runners. So basically what task runners do, these are certain apps, or I'd say command line tools, which are used as a converter, which are used to convert between which are used to do basic tasks like converting converting SAS to CSS, less files to CSS, or converting CoffeeScript files to normal JS files, and basic tasks like that. Or they can just you can just run a live reload using these task runners. They perform basically the operations that you will have to perform by using other sources. So these are additional things that you can have in your project. and the most popular task runner being Gulp. I say if you ever want to use a task runner, for that matter, use Gulp. Gulp is the way to go. It is the easiest thing you will ever see. Basically, task runners have one or two commands that you need to learn, and you're done with task runners. These are just additional tools that you can have in your website. These are not prerequisites, these are not compulsory, but these help you in the development. So, this is what task runners can do. The last thing that DevOps deals with is the containerization of data. That is the arrangement of data on a web server, the organization of data. So you have often know that kernel in a computer system, a kernel is the program that sees the loading of the data during boot time. Similarly, during the loading of our website, the containerized website have much faster load time, and that is why today Docker has become the way to go in terms of data organization on servers. Docker is probably the best thing there has ever been related to DevOps. So I'll say if you are ever interested in DevOps, Docker is a must. Docker makes it so easier and so faster to you know optimize your websites, and that is why I'll recommend Docker to every DevOps guy. So this is it for this video on DevOps, and let's move on to our next video. Thank you guys.